Hello, welcome to the Let's Talk Kids Health Facebook Live show. This is episode 50. I'm Dr. Narissa Bauer, your host. I'm a behavioral pediatrician and CEO of Let's Talk Kids Health. As you know, the concept of this show is to share information about behavioral health, parenting, and family wellness. Each week, I plan to bring you topics and guests to help me advance this mission so that we can all talk together. Now, let us know that you're here by commenting, asking questions, and liking at any time. And in a little bit, your questions will be asked to my guests. The replay will be immediately available after the broadcast, so please feel free to share this episode with anyone you think who could benefit. And if you don't want to miss future episodes or maybe check out some of the past ones, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Narissa Bauer, MD, and follow my blog Facebook page, Let's Talk Kids Health. And now you can also join my free parenting discussion group. So, this is such a special episode. I am so excited to welcome back to headquarters some of my senior detectives. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and invite them to introduce themselves. All right. Well, since this is kind of just live, I'm going to go ahead and maybe call on each of you to just unmute. So, why don't we start with Detective AP51?
Hi. My detective name is AP51, but sometimes I also go by Amy. I am reporting in from Westfield, and I have two junior detectives that participated in this course. I think we were the inaugural course back in October of 2020. And so my mom and husband and I also participated as senior detectives, but I'm here today.
I am so happy to have you back. And you participated back when I was just starting the course back in October. So it's such a treat to be reconnected with you. Thank you for taking some time, Detective AP51. Senior Detective Pa.
Hi, thanks for having me. I
Yes,
am
thanks.
Senior Detective Pa. I'm coming from Indianapolis, and I participated in the course with my junior detective, and my junior detective had a fellow senior detective who also participated throughout with us. So we had a good team this past fall. He is an 8-year-old boy, and yeah, it's a real pleasure to be.
Thank you so much for joining us again. So great to have you. Okay, how about Detective Tweety Bird?
Hey, can you hear
Hi,
me?
I can hear you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle. My AKA name Tweety Bird, as my son put that name on me. Um, I'm from Indiana as well, and actually I'm in Puerto Rico right now, but enjoying the weather down here. Um, my son and I have a 9-year-old boy who was diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 4. And it was a kind of a challenge at the beginning, and it still is, but right now, thanks to the class, I have learned a bunch of stuff that I needed to know a long time ago. So it's been great. The whole group is great because they can give you ideas of what is going on. You feel like you're not alone in this, and that your kid is not the only one suffering from ADHD. So that is great, and the classes are amazing. So um, back to you.
Thank you so much. My gosh, you're calling in from out of the
Puerto Rico.
country. I know, from Puerto
Yes.
Rico. Thank you for taking some time. This means so much. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
And
you for having
Detective
me.
Hart.
Hello. Hi, I am Detective Hart. I'm reporting in from Carmel, Indiana, and I just finished the course this past November.
Mhm.
So we're fresh out of the course with my now 8-year-old son, Detective Pikachu. And he was 7 during the course, and he just turned 8 2 days ago. So he was on the younger side, but he did it, and we did it together, and can't wait to help others learn about it, and hopefully they can benefit from it as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday to him, Detective
Yeah,
Pikachu. So if he watches this replay, let him know that we are sending him lots of love.
I will. He'll appreciate that because he had to cancel his birthday party because of
Oh.
COVID. So
Oh.
yeah, it didn't quite go according to plan, but that's okay. Everyone's healthy.
Yeah. Yes. Well, so if you're joining us, I see people watching. Make sure to comment, say hello, let us know you're here, let us know where you're calling in from. And in a little bit, we're going to ask your questions. So go ahead, don't be shy. Post those questions in the comments. So I'm going to go ahead and start us off because I think some of the questions are, why did you sign up for the Teach Me ADHD course? I don't know if anybody wants to kick off that question. Detective.
I'll jump in. I am actually a speech therapist, but I work with older people. And so a lot of my training and things was about child development. So I had a hint with my kid that, there were some things going on, but I knew that. And then I did the reading, and then I did the work.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like this course really helped spread the work in my house, where it wasn't just me sharing wisdom or coming with ideas or coming with solutions to different things. So that's one of my reasons, was that it wasn't just me that had some ideas on how to kind of remedy some things in our house.
Yeah, that's great.
Uh,
Detective Hart?
Yeah, I can add to that point. My 8-year-old son has a lot of oppositional defiance, coupled in with his ADHD. So a lot of the, teaching comes from me, and it doesn't matter what I'm saying, he'll just want to disregard it and do the opposite of what I say. And this was a really great way to have teaching and help come from someone else, and have him be a little bit more open to those words and that advice. And that was really big for me as well. Just having someone else in there telling him, how he can thrive and how he can be better. And just to add to that, the two other main reasons that I took this course is, one, because I believe so strongly in the power of prevention. And I was seeing really difficult behaviors in my son. And I just believe if I tackled these behaviors and handle them now, as opposed to 5, 10, 15 years from now, it would be so much easier to handle. Those problems would just grow inside and outside of the house. And little people, little problems, big people, big problems. And I wanted to keep those problems little and tackle them at the helm. And it's a journey, but it's an excellent start to help tackle those problem behaviors that you just may not know how to handle, and that it really helped me learn how to handle that. And then the second thing is the relationships for me, I felt could be very troubled sometimes with me and my son and his siblings, just because of the oppositionality or the impulsive behavior. It led to some difficult relationship issues, and this course also tackled just relationships. And I don't think I realized that was a reason I took the course until after the course, because there were love notes that we passed out to each other throughout the course, and I still keep them because I love them. I loved hearing positive thoughts from my 8-year-old son towards me. It just melted my heart. And like a family game night, that was another uh, you know something I didn't see coming. And we did this family game night. It was one of the family missions. And we ended up learning so much about each other and having so much fun. And it really helped our relationships with each other, and then also with siblings as well.
I will share that what motivated in my particular instance our junior detective splits his time between two satellite agencies, if you will. And so one of the things that was really important to us is that there was some kind of a consistent language, patterns, understandings of how we can support our son and how we can create structure and consistency in some of the key aspects of his world. And so that was something that was really attractive to us. We love the fact that this was a family experience. This wasn't putting the work on him to learn or to feel like he has to change or he has to do something. This was as much about us learning as senior detectives as anything. And it was a lot of emphasis on working together and helping each other to understand and change life patterns for the whole family and how those affect um, how those affect the junior detectives by both in terms of modeling behaviors, but also just creating an environment in the house that was conducive to their to success. So those were all the things that really attracted us initially. And there's so many other things once we got involved that turned out to, as Detective Hart said, that turned out to just be those extra bonuses, some really positive experiences and joys that came out of the course. But those are the things that attracted us initially. And the other thing I'll say is once we looked into and learned more about the curriculum or the approach, it was so much more holistic than some of the things we've seen before. It really touched on every aspect of our lives, of our junior detectives' lives, and has continued to. So it really, I mean, those are all things that just appealed to us so much.
Thank you. Detective Tweety Bird.
Yes, I echo everything that all the senior detectives have said. I mean, for us, we came into the agency through a friend who has a kid that was actually in our class as well, and I believe that knowledge is power. You know, the more you know, the more that you can help your son or your daughter. So I joined because I wanted to learn more, and I wanted to my son to actually learn what was happening inside his brain, because I you can see it that he's struggling with emotions and feelings and all the things that are going around him, and he would not share that what he was feeling. You would ask him and he would say nothing or I don't know. That was the main answers that I got. And when I joined the academy, we listened to each other, it was like, oh my goodness, my son is doing the same thing that other kids are doing. So okay, so it's something that is manageable. It's just that it's part of the condition. So for me it was eye-opening. Like Detective Hart said, I mean, the notes, that first few assignments were like, oh my goodness, you know, there's other ways to reach out to your kid that is um, taking them away from what they usually hear from friends at school, and the rhetoric of, I gave you instructions, why aren't you following them? There are other ways that you can talk to them and actually get them to understand where you're coming from, and you can understand where they're coming from. So that's why we joined, and we are so happy that we did. My son learned so much about his condition, which he didn't even know he had. This was a complete introduction to him. And after that, he talks about it. He reads books, and when he runs into the words ADHD, he's like, "Oh, mommy, just like me." So he now understands that it is a condition and how to calm himself down, how to eat better and how that helps him. The same way as the games. Oh my goodness, you have to go and do them because they give you so much back. My son cried and made me cry as well with his when we share feelings. I was like, wow. So I encourage everybody to join because oh my goodness, it is well worth it.
I
It
mean,
is.
hearing these stories, I mean, you guys are making me want to cry because like this is amazing. And when this was just a dream a year ago. Actually, it's hard to believe, but just having these stories and hearing what you have gotten out of it means so much. I do have a comment. Hey, watching from South Carolina, joining next month. We're so excited. Yeah. So why don't we go ahead and also I know we kind of all touched on this already, but the other question too was, what are some of your additional favorite highlights from the class? Anybody want to go first?
I'll jump in.
Okay.
And we've touched on some of them, but just even hearing the conversations and the other senior detective sharing is bringing back some really fond memories. It's with starting out even right from week one when we were sharing notes and we were sharing observations throughout the week about each other's behaviors and how kind of catching each other in these positive moments and expressing things that we often just think but never share. I just found myself throughout thinking, wow, this is all going on in his head, and I'd never heard any of these things. It was really interesting. It was like opening up a whole different world when we got to playing the a game, a dice game that is kind of later on in the program, maybe midway through. That is something that he would, and whenever we can we play a little more? Can we? That became like a routine, and some of the things was learning. It was an opportunity to share stories, family stories, things about myself as much as hearing about his day. And I probably learned more about what he does at school or about his relationships or through some of these activities. And so it really was eye-opening, even beyond that, because it's strengthened our connection as a reminder of these are opportunities or approaches that can cause or allow him to open up in what was apparently a safer environment or a more natural or organic environment than just asking about his day. So those were some of the real highlights, right down to the end as we started to think about things that are I'm just planning our menus together and thinking about our goals and our future, what motivates us and enthusiasm. It was just really the strategies that helped him specific to ADHD provided an incredible level of incredible boost in self-confidence. I think Detective Tweety Bird really hit on that. It was understanding that this is sort of a part of who I am. This is a part of me as a person, but it's not a problem. It's a aspect or a facet of who I am. And so he has a different approach to himself, and it's brought just a different ability for us to kind of talk about and understand and explore how we each see the world in a way that has really strengthened our relationship beyond just being a management of a condition type of approach. So a little long-winded, but that it really did bring back a lot of memories.
Well, I'll show you one of my favorite parts of the I have to go the right way there. This right here is one of my favorite parts of the class, probably because it was one of my son's favorite parts of the class. This is the glitter jar, and he uses it to calm himself. And it's, one of the strategies that stuck with the class. And he has it sitting on his desk, and I've seen him use it before. So this is definitely one of my favorite parts. And the other favorite part is watching my son do his finger breathing. There have been like 2 times since we finished the class where, in order to calm down, he did his 5-finger breathing. And I was like, what? He just did that? Like, I was in love. And so he's used the glitter jar, and he's used the finger breathing, and learning about how to handle the emotions, which is probably a huge part for everyone who has a child with ADHD, was one of my favorite parts. And I loved the way that you put all of what we learned together into a game, because into the bingo game. My son loved the bingo game because, he kind of got rewards and prizes, and it turned all of those strategies of handling emotions, and eating healthy and sleeping well into a game for him. So the bingo was also another favorite part of the class for me. I still use it even after the class. So yeah, it's a great.
Well, I'm glad. And you remember too, you have access to all those files, so you can always download more bingo cards and make new ones.
Yes. Yeah, I went back today and listened to the ants, shooing the ants away. If you take the class, you'll learn, it's an acronym. Dr. Bauer's big on acronyms, and, another negative thought is, what AMP stands for. And I had to go back and just listen to it just to remind myself, so it was nice to have those. That's another great part about the class, is you can go back and listen to the recordings. If, you have other kids in the background while you're taking the class, like I did, and you miss a part, you can go back and listen, to refresh your memory, on the recordings, which was a great part about the class. So I went back and listened to all those ants today because we used the visual cue, for the ants that you put together during the class. And I had to go back and remind myself how to do all of them, so that, I could practice them with my son. And so those are just a few of my favorite parts of the class.
Good job, detective. Good job.
All I can think of is in Shrek, something about an onion, a lot of layers. The course just had so many layers to the touchy-feely parts, the affirmation parts, the structures, the organization, the education. So I can't pick one. I really appreciated all of the layers.
Thank you.
I agree. I mean, everything, each one of your missions is going to give you something additional on how to work with your kid and understand the condition. And in my case in particular, aside from, the bingo game was a huge hit of my house, the same way as the activity about sharing feelings. It was very touching, and it gave us so much, because I could finally get into his mind. What are you thinking about? What are you feeling? And he felt safe talking about it, because you'll see, and I don't want to spoil it, but you'll see that there are ways to get your kid about talking about their feelings, and at the same time you're sharing with them, how it makes you feel when they get angry, when they get upset or frustrated, when you see them crying. How do you feel? How does that make you feel? Also, during the course, my son was quarantined a couple of times, and the structure part was a hit. I mean, having a schedule, and having him create that schedule helps so much, because he could now see, this is what I need to do, and I have to stay on that schedule, and it will get me through the day. So that helped him a lot. And the calming jar, he still has it in his room, He shakes it every day. I mean, not right now because we're in Puerto Rico, but when we're at home, he shakes it every day. And he's like, you can see him just looking at that glitter go down, and you can see it in his face coming down. And it's great for when he's going to bed. Uh, so just some thoughts on what I liked. I mean, everything. And the fact that you don't get to open your missions until it's time to do them. That's, with ADHD kids, they want to do everything and, open everything and play with everything at the same time. Well, it was a challenge for him at the beginning. Just know you have to wait until Dr. Bauer says it's okay to open it, and he followed through. So I was impressed by that.
Yeah, it's really so we build in a lot of different skills to practice on, the executive functioning skills, and what the families were referring to are, the supply box that you get when you purchase the course. And each box has 9 different bags to correlate with the pre-visit or the pre-training mission, and then the 8 different meetings so that you have everything you need there. So you don't have to run out to the store, but also it's intentional too to practice that emotion, like that regulation piece, but also to make sure that nobody loses anything before they have to do it. So it's a lot of fun. I pack those all personally along with my family. Uh, so you guys get that shipped to your house. And then the family missions are designed just for that. And I love hearing that feedback that it's designed to connect, communicate, and collaborate with the family. I'm going to pause right now, remind people watching, if you have questions, comments, please don't hesitate to do that. I can see some of you watching here. But for now, we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to play a video from Detective Masker. She pre-recorded with me, so let's quickly listen and see what she had to say.
They're all remote, yes, but they could just see other kids that were just like them and, jittery on their chairs at the same time and, impulsively wanting to break into class to tell a joke or, so all those things made it more real for him. Like, I'm not any different than any other kid. It's just my brain works a little bit different. And there's other kids that go through it too.
So, in that clip, she was talking about why it was really helpful, especially the group aspect of it. And as you know, the class enrolls up to 10 per class time. And I had asked her that question about, what was it about that aspect that he liked or she liked? And again, she just shared those thoughts about how it helped normalize things. Does anybody else have anything to add about that?
I'd like to, as I was watching that, it reminded me, we've talked so much about the experience outside of the class sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And the class sessions themselves were so much fun. It was something, it really gave something that, we look forward to on a Sunday evening. It was, so it was an activity and not a chore. It was I laughed to hear about the wanting to speak and wanting, because it is, the classes are just designed in a way that the junior detectives are driving the conversation. They're as involved and engaged in the conversation throughout. And so rather than feeling like they have to restrain that desire to participate, to communicate, it's designed around that, to leverage that that desire and to really allow them to share what's on their mind, jump in. It almost became a source of pride. They wanted to be the first one to answer, or they wanted to share their thoughts, and it's just so much fun. And so that reminded me that we maybe haven't given as much time as parents might want to hear about what the actual class is like. And it really was a lot of fun. I couldn't believe that my son is sitting still and on his, after watching him in virtual school, and here he is and is sitting and playing and interacting with the other students in the class and sharing ideas. It was a blast.
Oh, that's so great to hear. And this Facebook users, unfortunately, I don't know who it is, but it says this is so helpful to hear what to expect. There was a question though from Brenda. How much time do the missions take per week? Asking as our weeks are already very full. This is Brenda listening in from Illinois.
So, okay, can I?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
um for us, the good thing is that you don't have to do it all at once. You get to spread it throughout the week, so you don't have to uh finish everything all at once. You can have like a project at night, after dinner, let's spend like 20 minutes together and work on this. I think the one that took the most time is the last one, but you have a week and even more to do that. Um, so that was the only one that took a little bit more time, and it was mostly because since we're on a pandemic, I didn't have magazines at home. So I had to go and search for images and things that we wanted to share with our project. But they usually, you'll see that um, if you look at everything that you have to do, which is not much, and it's so rewarding while you're doing it and afterwards, that it doesn't, the time flies when you're doing the activities, is what I found. And I'm a working mom. My son had been quarantined a couple of times. uh we have been working from home this whole time, and it has been, crazy, but we were able to make it work. And our son loved it. I mean, and you're gonna love it too, because you're gonna be spending time with your kids, and you're gonna see the difference it makes each mission. You're gonna see something different coming out of your kid, and that is more than rewarding. So um I don't know if anybody else
Yeah.
had the same issues I had, but for me, it was very easy to do, as long as I didn't do it all at once, because it can be overwhelming for them, to get them to sit for more than 20 minutes. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it can take you can put as much as you want into it or as little as you want into it. I mean, you can really tailor it to how much time you have. I would say, um, y- uh, we usually did ours on the weekends, sometimes right before class, sometimes earlier in the week. But I wouldn't say that anything. I mean, I feel like ha- half an hour, maybe at the most. Some took 5 minutes, some maybe took, a half an hour. But and even if you fall behind, that's okay. I know a lot of, we would, if you don't finish it before the class, that's okay. You would just post it and do it when it works for your schedule. So it's not like you're getting graded on finishing, the missions. It's for you to do as it works for your schedule. So if you fall behind, it's okay. You just do it when you have a little extra time one day or one weekend. But we usually did ours on the weekends, like, Saturday or Sunday, 5 to 30 minutes max, I would say.
Hmm. Yeah, thanks for saying that. Because, as part of the group, as part of the course, you have access to a private Facebook group, the Teach Me ADHD community. And I always ask families to post their evidence of family missions there. So if you don't get around to doing it for that week, you can always just go there and post it whenever you get it done, because then you'll get feedback from headquarters, get cheers from other parents, and you get inspiration or reminders like, oh, we forgot that, So there's no shame, no judgment. I think we're all growing and learning together. And so that's the beauty of the course. And when you purchase the course, you don't just get the 2 months of the interactive class, you get up to 6 months of interaction in the Facebook group. So for ongoing learning. So you've got all that time to make up for it. And as some of the senior detectives alluded to, if you have to miss a week, you've got that video supplement to go back to at any time. If you have one parent who's actively on and then the other one can't make it consistently, they can kind of log on and watch at a later time. I have 2 more video clips to share. I know we're kind of coming out. So if any of the senior detectives live need to hop off, I want to just express my gratitude. Thank you so much. I am going to switch over to Detective Lateral Mind. She actually shared a little bit about what sort of impact this class had for her relationship with her daughter, Detective. Super fun.
The camaraderie, that was there. And she was always eager to type in her answer, like as fast as she can, whenever she knew it. And what I appreciate about you is that you allow them to express their own individualities. Like you never make anyone feel bad if they had the wrong answer, or, like she might write her answer in Spanish. She might say cuatro or whatever. And, you just acknowledge that and moved on. And, you really, if they were expressing something emotional, the kids, you weren't rushing them like, okay, we got about 5 minutes left. Hurry up with your story. You didn't do that. You validated their feelings. And it was very reassuring to see that they had someone outside of just the family, supporting them, which I think is very important, because oftentimes kids, the family is the only one that gets them or that is on their side. So it was good to see that someone outside of family, supported their efforts in learning and, appreciate their difference, their diversity.
Yeah. All right. And then we'll want to hear from Detective Hearts, not to be confused with Detective Hart. So this is one more clip that I wanted to share. She wanted to be live, but she couldn't join us tonight. So she also pre-recorded. So hold on.
A pediatrician, actually,
Yes.
and a ADHD life coach. So I'm
Yes.
both, right?
Mhm.
So I
Yep.
see both sides. I'm an advocate for medication in children if they need it, because it's very important. However, I think what's missing in the discussion is that life skills, the executive function skills that you teach in the program. Having medication and executive function skills is what makes ADHD work so well in kids and lets them thrive. And there's been a lot of medical research, you guys can go research it, that has actually said having either therapy and medication or medication and coaching, even though this is not quote unquote therapy, I saw it as a strategic, class, right?
Yes.
Having that is one of the best ways to help with ADHD. So I just wanted to throw my 2 cents.
I appreciate that. And coming from a fellow physician, as well as an ADHD certified coach, and someone who has ADHD herself, I mean, it's really wonderful. So thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And then there was one more comment here. We are new to our diagnosis and it is still quite scary. So this is the perfect time, right, to take the course. It sort of helps give you a common language. You learn together, you onboard together. And I think that's for me as a behavioral pediatrician. And when I was thinking about the design of this course, I also felt like that was missing. Typically a busy pediatrician, we can handle the diagnosis and initial management, but we oftentimes have to refer patients out for behavioral therapy, for parenting support, working with the school, all of those essential things that have to be part of that. But, with this course, it sort of acts as a bridge and it sort of acts as, the beginning part of handling ADHD so that you learn together how to handle those things. It's also helpful for families too who have been managing ADHD for a long time but need a reset, and time to sort of get reacquainted with each other, because it really does help families sort of stop and reconnect with each other. Oh, yes, Tawana, thank you so much for sharing your name. I'm looking forward to having you join us next month. So any other comments or thoughts before we end? Oh, hold on. Brenda asked, did I hear correctly that this course helps with executive functions? The answer is yes. Yes, we work on all of these different things, right? Does anybody have any thoughts, comments on that?
Well, you go ahead, Detective Hart.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's a buzzword term that I never really heard of until we got my son's ADHD diagnosis, and this class definitely touches on that. There's one of the weeks is all about time management and planning and organization, and there's lots of charts and visuals that can help you track healthy eating, and it can help you plan out your day. And all of those organization skills and planning skills are executive skills, executive functioning skills that are touched on in the class. So absolutely. And that's such like a people would say that word and I'm like, what does that mean? And now I have a much better understanding, but absolutely they touch on that. So
I was going to follow up on that also, because the course touches on that in two really great ways. One is with the strategies that Detective Hart just talked about, and the other is with awareness of the importance of some of those things, both for the junior detectives to understand the how these things affect their lives, but for me as a senior detective, as a reminder that that my junior detective isn't experiencing life in the same way that I am at all times, and has and that's important for me in my communication, in my listening, and in my understanding of or interpreting what and why he may do things how he does them. But to the idea of kind of having buzzwords and or terms of art, if you will. And Detective Lateral Mind talked about having that external support from the family. I can't express how valuable it has been, Dr. Bauer, to have validation to things like, remember what we learned about sleep and the importance of getting good sleep. Remember, we're eating our rainbow, right? We've got to make sure we, and let's plan our schedule. These are, we don't want to, right? These are conversations, and they put terms, common terms around things that as parents we're always trying to help children, or our children, to understand. And here, by putting them in the context of the missions and the detective agency, and with Dr. Bauer's the way that information is presented in the lessons, that makes the junior detectives, it makes makes them feel like these are things that they want to do. These are, they understand the importance. It's not just another task in their day. It's been wonderful, because it has really made some of those reminders about executive functions, and about things, the importance of being healthy, and become a shared responsibility, and something that has become fun instead of a source of conflict. So thank you so much for that.
Detective Tweety Bird, were you going to unmute?
I'm just gonna say that it's very rewarding to see their faces, especially when they're following a schedule and they see that they completed that schedule. Is like, a sense of accomplishment that they have. And the fact that you go, after that fact, and start saying how proud you are about them completing that schedule and following through, et cetera, et cetera. It kind of gives them, a sense of feeling that they're doing things right, and that they're being validated and seen from what they're doing, aside from, the traditional cleanup after you yourself, or those kind of things. They see the positive in it. So that was very refreshing to see, especially with our son, how he saw that accomplishment, and he would go to you and say, "Mom, I did this, look at my chart." And that was very refreshing, so rewarding.
So I just want to remind everybody that right now, as you know, we are actively enrolling. And so I just want to give you guys the heads up, the top secret code, because if you register now before Sunday, use the top secret code 10 off January 22 by New Year's Eve to get 10% off the entire package. And then, as you know, agency doors only open 3 times a year in January, March, April, and September. So don't delay because agency doors are going to be closing very soon. And I'd love to welcome as many of you into the agency for the next go around. Now, if you can't make it in January, you can always sign up for the wait list and then you'll get advanced priority registration the next time. So don't delay. Anything else you guys want to add before we end for tonight? Thank you again so much for joining me.
I'll just close my thoughts by saying I brought the final family mission was for your junior detective to write what he learned from the class, and my junior detective wrote that ADHD is not something bad about me, followed by a poop emoji, of course, because he likes to doodle. But I'm surprised there's not some Pokemon on there. But anyway, when he wrote that, and that was all by himself, I didn't tell him what to write. That was enough for me to say this was all worth it. If he has that thought at the end of the class, then it was well worth every minute of time.
Mm.
So thank you, Dr. Bauer.
Oh, of course, my pleasure. And
Yes.
it's a treat for me. I mean, getting to spend this time weekly with all of you, getting to know you, your families, and then we hang out together in the Facebook community group afterwards. So we continue to grow and learn. So this has been so wonderful. Anybody else? I want to make sure everybody gets a chance before we end.
No, I just say it's a for me, for my family, the course filled a gap that doesn't exist in. We had all these different elements of care that you've talked about, and it doesn't. Yeah, it really is was a great experience and continues, like you said, continues on afterwards to be. So, thank you as well.
Thank you. So I do want to say, because this is normally my regular Facebook Live show slots, but as with anything, with the new year, I am changing things up again. So I just want to announce that this show, normally on Thursday nights, are moving to Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time in the parenting discussion group, not to make everything so complicated. But my next show will feature Emily Bruce from Peer Connect. We'll be talking about building friendships and social connections for children with and without special needs. So she has developed an app to help connect and make those connections for families. So you'll hear why she did that and how she did that and how you can kind of support this movement, because I think for all of us who have kids who think and learn a little bit differently, all that neurodiversity out there, it's really important to help expose them to other peers so that they can just feel like they're not alone. And I love, and I'm really excited about this upcoming episode. As you know, all episodes are simulcast on my YouTube channel, as well as now my Facebook parenting discussion group, which is free. So please head on over there and join. And then also, I do want to make sure to mention, I do a Facebook parenting discussion parenting book club. And I am so excited by the one for next month. It is Under Pressure by Dr. Lisa Demour, a New York Times bestselling author, psychologist, has her podcast, Ask Lisa. Awesome. I am so excited. It's all about the epidemic of anxiety and stress in girls. So if you have a young girl and would like to listen, you can get the book on Audible if you want, 7 hours, and then participate. She is going to be joining me live for an author book club chat at the end of January. So I'll post that also on my Facebook page. So I hope that some of you will, if you don't join the agency, make sure you just join the parenting book club discussions, look at my Facebook live shows. I'm always trying to design other things for a lot of different families just to get this information out there. And again, if you have any comments or questions about the course, make sure to reach out to me by email, follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm all over. So I'm always happy to chat. Now I'm going to just, before we go, I'm going to just throw up the hold on, the information that you need to enroll, and I'm going to put that up on the video link. So that way, if you decide that you are going to enroll, you can actually just point your phones right now, pause the video, and point your phone to that QR code scan. It'll bring you to the web page that then you can select Teach Me ADHD and then sign up right there to register and join the agency. Classes start January 9th. There are 3 time slots, and each time slot we only have 10 families just because it keeps it more manageable. But if you cannot join, there's other options. Teach Me ADHD on demand, and then also other things that I'm cooking up in the near future. So make sure you check out the website for more information. All right. Well, this has been such a lovely episode, and I can't believe it's my 50th and that I get to celebrate it with all of you. Yay! What a reunion. So thank you so much, all of you, for taking time out on this evening on Thursday, right before the New Year holiday. You all mean so much to me. You have become family to me. So thank you. And I cannot wait to welcome more of you into the agency. Good night, everybody.